Y'all are awesome.
Cheers. The pocket knife on you, guys. Cheers.
Oh,
Beautiful. That's all we need.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. I can get you a knife.
Just a small one.
It's right here.
Oh, perfect, Alex.
I got this picture right
Yeah. Big old pink blue is I think is like what I usually get. And we don't do knife on these because you always want to get that hand pull. You just can't replicate that downwards.
Would one of these knives work?
That's got to bust this. So I did get one of these single range.
Oh, awesome. Here, I got this.
We're doing a few rounds of this.
Feel
that talking.
There you go.
Yeah. There's keys in my pocket. I was like, what do I? Thanks so much.
I didn't know if you need a knife to cut the mushrooms.
Oh, no, I don't believe in. Try to be hand shred them.
That's their whole shit.
Yeah.
Kind of big and meaty. I don't know what you're doing, but
we're gonna pull it down.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's a sound.
Yeah, you gotta give it that natural, you know, natural vibe.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty good off the river. No. You're gonna wait to see what He's like, I couldn't wait to see what he was wearing. No, I've always got some crazy one.
I've always had chestnuts, and I've never cooked with
Chestnuts?
before, but
I've done gravies with them, so really earthy, nutty. I've done a gravy. I do a croissant in gravy.
Oh.
Actually, instead of biscuit in gravy, you add a little extra butter in this, I guess. It's a little. I always use chestnuts in a gravy.
Okay.
Yeah, make like a brown gravy, white gravy, brown gravy.
Some of the speakers
I keep some whole in it, so you get the chunks of mushroom. It's a thinner gravy,
Yeah.
and it's got like chunks of mushroom.
Oh,
It's like
good.
that's what I always have like something I default to first with one type of mushroom.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about that a little.
It's still here.
No, I hadn't left, but I've cooked with like 130 sweets with the mushroom now so far. And every single mushroom, I try to think it has some personality and it wants to do something specific. Not just let's throw some bell peppers and onions and saute.
Yeah.
That's what's good.
I don't want to be guilty of just, sauteing and everything.
Well, you get to know each mushroom and personality.
Yeah.
Lion's mane is the one a lot of people that have dove out. They have like let's say 10 packages. They everybody does the seafood thing.
Yeah.
And that's great.
One time I cooked it, I made the crab cakes.
Yeah, the crab cake. Me and my buddy.
They were good. They were so good.
Oh, they're pretty. Yeah, I love them. I follow the recipe on that. Well, that's another story.
I call him the foraging chef.
Yeah, Forger Chef Alan Burton. I was going to say, he actually takes the claim to fame to be the person who created lion's mane crab cakes in the 90s. He said, that's me. Like, that wouldn't have existed. I think 1999 or something. He did it. I don't know.
Perfect. It worked so well.
It is. That's what I was going to say. I don't do other recipes. I follow his recipe to the dot.
Yeah.
Crab cakes. But I do lion's mane steaks. That's my thing now.
Okay.
Me and my buddy Danny, who's from Atlanta, he's not here. He does it better than I do. In fact, if I get plugged in, I'll pull up photos of his steak. You would think it's a steak. I swear. And he's not. He's just a home chef.
Did you squeeze all the water out first and then slice it, or?
One thing about it is a lot of chefs or people at the farmers market, when they go to the stand, they want this fluffy lion's mane from the grower.
Yeah.
But actually, I like it when the grower I buy from picks it young for me, and it's like super dense already.
Okay.
It's really different looking. It's more grain-like. It's like really intensely dense.
Yeah.
And it's heavier per volume, and so that's what I work with.
Okay.
So I don't have to like. And it's pretty dry. I get it dry. It's not moist. It's not like loaded with water, but it's dense.
Okay.
So I don't have to. Now, if I get it wild, it's going to be probably moist and dense potentially.
Yeah.
Or moist and fluffy. But it's a different ballgame. Wild lion's manes.
I've never found one wild. The one time I had it, I got a grow cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing it, I can get somewhere in between. But yeah, wild one is almost always, in my experience, it wants to hold on to a lot of water. You can squeeze that thing like a sponge and it will literally drip.
Yeah. Even the one I grew, it was like
Dripping,
Yeah.
yeah.
It shrinks like half the size after it squeezes out all the water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the one thing too about buying mushrooms. I mean, mushrooms are 90% water when they're at their peak.
I was just amazed how much it squeezed out. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful. I don't know. You know, some foragers, they sell wild mushrooms. Chefs, they'll spritz their mushrooms. They say to get them fresher or something if they're dried.
Yeah.
If you buy chanterelles, yeah, to make a vodka. But yeah, you can add a lot of water. Like when I pick a basket after a rain, chanterelles,
Yeah.
it'll be like really heavy versus they're slightly dry but still quality. It'll be like nothing at all for the same quality. They really change on weight.
Yeah.
I don't know what's on the mute thing. Insert percent with power. That's it. All right. What do you? I just go ahead. And live stream. I'm gonna get my laptop so I can pull stuff up. I hope we get people here. It doesn't look like much, but we'll let the mushrooms talk. But this is the stuff we're making, basically mushroom bacon.
Oh, nice.
And it's this is our secret recipe. Oh yeah.
The secret sauce.
Yes, I just saw the room here. This is the secret sauce. Get that, yeah. So it's all about. I have some candied cinnabars and jerk candy. Cancer too. I'm gonna get for here. Alright, T-4 minutes. We can announce me after the song.
Okay.
And then we'll off to the races.
Yeah, more people come
Start
out.
talking. Yeah, so let that start low. Okay, well, I am putting some cultivated King Blue. I mean, they're like a King Blue. I actually didn't bring these. Paul knows where he grabbed them from, someone here. They're meaty, really meaty oysters. I'm just going to talk about cooking mushrooms. Mostly wild mushrooms, but also cultivated. So, one thing a lot of people talk about is drying, sautéing the moisture, the wet weight out of the mushroom first. And I definitely do with fresh, wild mushrooms in a good nonstick. They will release a lot of juices, and I like them to swim and cook in their own juice, right, such as chanterelles. With these, they've naturally air-dried a little bit, so I'm not doing them starting fat right away. But yeah, so right off the bat, one thing, so I cook every single mushroom differently. They all have a personality. My favorite mushroom on earth to eat and cook is chicken of the woods. Latiparus sulphureus or Latiparus gilbertsonii pallidus, or I mean, a lot of people say they like the Cincinnatus one. But I personally like the sulphureus, the yellow underside. I find the Cincinnatus growing at the base of the tree in its bouquet-like scenario. I harvest maybe like 6 or 8 a year of the Cincinnatus, usually in the springtime, as large as 12 pounds per was the largest, and I will get it repeatedly. So I'm looking at that same tree once a week for about 2 months till it does its thing. And it usually always does its thing, 3 or 4 years in a row, some trees for me. Eventually it won't anymore. And I always like to tell people, you know, certain species cannot be, you know, I'll say, just to really emphasize the point, like no human can grow this mushroom. Or someone says, can you grow chanterelle? And the answer is, if you can first grow a 500-year-old live oak forest, you know, or whatever. And so that's really fun for foraging. We were talking about earlier that you can't grow that. But I think with chicken of the woods, actually, I was talking with some mycologists at Alabama Mushroom Festival last year, and they were saying, actually, we can grow chicken of the woods. And I've seen people see it, and I've seen 1 or 2 photos, like, in proper size, chicken of the woods. And he said the reason no one's doing it, it makes a lot of sense, is because, so we're talking about like a grow bag scenario, right? That grow bag needs to be the size of a small sedan. Because and when you look at the underside of a chicken, it's muscular, almost like it has a six-pack. It's got this oomph, this push, right? So it has the mycelium. And I'm not a cult. I cook mushrooms, I identify mushrooms, amateur there. But I don't grow much. So my language is probably some cultivators and popular. Well, that's not the right way to talk about it. But yeah, you need to myceliate that bag out, and then for it to fruit out, right? Yeah. And you need to see the push of the fruit, some on a shock, right? So some on temperature changes. So one thing about the chicken of the woods in the wild fruiting is it's not rain dependent. You know, we get some good rains. Okay, now the mycorrhizal chanterelles are popping up out of the ground, and they have certain growing scenarios. But with the chicken, it's the cold snaps, the warm snaps, the snaps, the changes. They don't care about moisture because it's already there. It isn't there. It's not like that rain kicks them off. I don't follow the rains. Chickens. The rain's going to kick them every year. The temperature changes. So in the other ones, the sulfurious are what we get in the low country on the live oaks. It's actually, we get a couple different things. We get they call southern chicken in the woods. It's actually it's a couple of weird species that just got transferred out of lutiferous too. Yeah. There's a few. Let's one of them. So I'm not cooking this mushroom. I actually have one small nub of one. I found 3 so far in last week. Lutiferous persicinus, or the peach chicken of the woods, or white chicken of the woods. I've heard it called both. It's kind of brown though, brown and white. That is delicious. And I talk about people and they're not cooking, but it actually never should have been lutiferous. It should have been in that genus. It doesn't feel like a chicken. It doesn't look like a chicken. It kind of does, but not really. You can tell when you look at it. It's like, this is not, it shouldn't be in the same genus. But I like cooking with it. I call it roast beef of the woods. And it's really delicious. So, yeah, each mushroom wants to be cooked different. So, right now, I'm just going to get around. I don't really need to talk in minutes. I know someone's talking. So we're just we're cooking in use garlic oil. We save our garlic oil. A lot of fat. So one thing about I like to treat mushrooms like meat. Mushrooms are closer in DNA to the animal. Everyone always says something to that. It's like this one little fun thing. Like, whoa, and I'm saying like, whoa, when I hear it. Mushrooms are closer in DNA overall, right, to the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. It's until 1971. Mushrooms were in elementary and high school science books in the plant kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. Like way. They're definitely, to me, they're. I mean, just like humans are far different than the rest of the human kingdom, right? I think so. I think that obviously mushrooms are not animal, but I think they're far closer to the animal kingdom than plants. And as far as like eating them, so they're meaty, they're fleshy, right? They shouldn't be treated like a vegetable, I don't think. So I cook them like meat, or I try to. I do replicas, I guess you could say, right? So I'm making mushroom bacon folks right now. I don't like to say that, but some people like that, to hear that. But I don't have a lot with them today. We're keeping it simple and continue around with it. All right, so they did release some of their own juices. One thing I do with chicken in the woods is I always pre-cook it. It wants to cook very well. So I will braise it with a little white balsamic salt and salt and let it cook in its own juices for a while in the oven and sort of release its own juices and soak back up and evaporate out the water. Always. And then I will saute it or bread it or fry it or whatever. I always twice cook chicken. A lot of digestibility issues with chicken in the woods. I think I've heard like 5% of the population doesn't digest chicken of the woods well. It has real stomach issues with it. I don't put a disclaimer on a menu. I run a restaurant. We serve wild mushrooms. That's the main thing. We're in Savannah, Georgia, the Haunts, Forest Table.
That's your restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't give my introduction. Yeah.
You might have been out of the room when you said it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
didn't give
I
that.
want to try your restaurant. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're a mushroom restaurant.
Yeah.
And we love mushrooms. We're crazy about it. So basically, we've served over 120 species of mushrooms. Maybe we don't tell mushroom out than that because I've only served 136. But you know. How many of Jacksoniae is really good, and I can identify it really well. So I have served Amanita Jacksoniae before to people that knew what they were getting into. But chicken in the woods, yeah. Or also the Tipperus persicinus, which is no longer the Tipperus. It's an new genus. That's not on the list, but it should have been. When he worked with the local health departments, you know, he said, you can serve A, B, C, D, and E. And we need those systems, those certifications. So get some color on there. So the one thing about cooking them like a meat is the one difference between mushrooms and meat is, well, protein. Big thing is fat. Mushrooms don't have fat. You have to give them that fat. And unless I'm not afraid of fat. I'm not low oil at all. So they want fat. And that's the big difference. So I make sure I have plenty of that. We talk about dry sautéing or cooking their own juices. And basically, in a minute here, I'm going to hit with a glaze. So, and then we're going to taste it, and I'll continue on. So every mushroom has a personality. I cook lion's mane, not like seafood, but like steak more often. In a moment, I'm going to pull up on the internet a photo. My buddy Danny here in Atlanta that cooks in a cast iron lion's mane that literally looks like a sirloin steak. If he hits miles, I can't believe this guy's here. And yeah, we were saying Neil Burgo, Fortress Chef, has that classic recipe for lion's mane crab cakes. That's one I don't like recipes, but that's one that I don't mess with. Like, I do it to the dot. If you're gonna cook lion's mane crab cakes, he takes the claim to fame and says, I'm the one that made lion's mane crab cakes a thing in 1997 or something. And I think he probably did it. I'll take his word on it. I wasn't around in the early 90s to remember if lion's mane crab cakes were a thing, but they should have been. It's the best thing to do with lion's mane. But steaks are really good. I like it when they grow it young and dense. So cultivated mushrooms closer to the base are really dense there. A lot of people are like, you know, they're working with like this or something, and they're like, you know, they get rid of the substrate or something there. I say a little substrate's good for you. But a little dirt don't hurt too. But so I make a wild mushroom sausage kind of thing too. And I like mince the denser parts of any mushroom too. None of it goes to waste. So I harvest some chicken in the woods. And the one thing about chicken in the woods is I think most people are eating chicken in the woods not prime, and they think it's prime. Most. The majority. I think a lot of people haven't actually had a lot of people. And these are already okay.
What's the glazing good?
So tamari, smoked paprika, a little roasted garlic, cayenne, black pepper, really simple, low agave, Vermont maple syrup. It's like a bacon glaze. Just gonna hit it. So we have a little smoked paprika, but we wanted to catch a little flame. I'm gonna taste that flame. Never worked with this guy. Catch that flame, keep working. Yeah, usually I got here and catch the flame. White ball, so there we go. White ball solvent is the acid that I like to use. It's my favorite acid. Yep, I'll get some caramelization going. Yeah, so white ball solvent is the acid. Vermont maple syrup is fine. And then brown sugar, a little roasted garlic in there. And I'm gonna let that cool down, put in some cups, and going real minimal here with some sugars. I also have some chanterelle jerky sample packs. So I haven't done in 2 years. I usually don't jerky out chanterelles. I guess I did a couple years ago. I probably prefer other mushrooms to make a jerky with than chanterelle myself. So it's that right? The jerky?
Yeah.
Lime thing.
Ah.
It's a technical thing. I don't really think chanterelles like to be dry. I'm going to pass around these.
Yeah.
And these are also Alan Virgo's recipe. A little spin. He does the candy black trumpets. Beautiful recipe in one of his books, Forge Your Chef. And so I love doing lavender candy cinnabars. These are actually vanilla orange, but I usually do them with lavender. Little cinnabars. I probably harvested 6 pounds of cinnabars this year, which, if you know how tiny
They are so tiny.
cinnabar is,
Yeah.
6 pounds is like a lot of bending down. A lot. I couldn't believe it. There were more cinnabars at this one patch than there were. It was like an 80-acre spot, 80-acre forest. More cinnabars than chanterelles. Okay. Give me that steak. So Dan here, my buddy, does this steak. We're gonna get a picture. This is porcini. Okay, so this is our porcini. This is how we use Polytelus, pseudopina pilus, which grows with the loblolly pines around here. If you all see this mushroom, get it. It is as good as porcini. A lot of people don't know we have porcini down here. The Boletus edulus clad, right? There's many species that are ancestrally cousins, I guess. And that's ours. They had another pop this year. You know, boy, they're so delicious. The candies are good. Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll pass this around. Back to chicken. A lot of people. So, if you can take a chicken, and the reason is when you look at it, it's bright orange still. Maybe gets a little sun faded. They look fresh when they're not, unlike any other mushroom. It could be a week past when anybody should be eating it. It's not a health hazard. There's no mildew or mold growth yet. It's up in the air and almost naturally dehydrated, and it might have even rehydrated from X-ray and not gotten mildewy. So it could be seemingly juicy, but it will. If you can take it and you can bend it past 45 degrees and it snaps, don't eat it.
Okay.
If that's not the better disclaimer, it should be like, it should really, honestly, so it should, it like works different than that, actually.
Yeah.
So, but it should shred like cooked chicken breast, juicy and really like that. So I think a lot of people see it, it might seem juicy, but it's cardboardy. And you can, and they're breading and frying it and treating it like chicken tenders, so they don't know the difference. Because, the breading tastes good and the sauce tastes good. I think, but when you have a young chicken, I don't think it's a better mushroom to eat on her. And I think it has the meatiness and that grow back. Like, it wants to, it's got power to it. Mushrooms are strong. And it's a powerful mushroom. It's by far my favorite to eat. And I like serving it. I like people to experience fresh young chicken. So our restaurant is as 100% vegan, plant-based. We don't say it. First, we're forced to table. We do say it, but we don't. If you're going to do a vegan restaurant, don't say you're vegan ever. Like, that's how you do it. You don't need to preach to a choir, and you don't need to. So that's my philosophy on that. So we're a forest to table restaurant. We work with a lot of forage goods. I harvest native plants as well. I add to my repertoire every year. Like, know your natives is the big thing I'm all about. So your species, your mushrooms, get to know. Like, don't go. That's why the book's like, don't go buy Audubon mushroom. Which was really outdated. The Audubon mushroom book. Don't buy that and try to read a book to get to know. Like, get out there and get to know what you see repeatedly through the same seasons and their patterns. And just then, when it comes, plants to me were intimidating for a while. There's something called the green wall. I heard a phrase, and I had that. Like, mushrooms came easy to me. Like, I guess, I couldn't see a mushroom in my area and not get to know what it was. I needed to know who is it. Is it really rare? Is it really? I actually found Lactarius deliciosas, Olivia, something. It looks like a frog. So the Milkies, the blue Milky, and all the different light terriers, they seem to have a certain style to them. And I was freaking out. Like I'm always like hooting and hollering in the woods, like talking to the mushrooms and stuff. But when I found it, this was just 2 days ago. I spent a lot of time in the woods the last week and a half. I also go out at night with ultraviolet lights. That's one of my favorite things to do is the UV. Alan Rockefeller sort of taught me about that. He's into the UV. Has anyone ever gone in the woods at night with a UV light?
So cool, so fun.
There's a world you don't know exists. I have some UV photos on metal print out at our booth out there. But yeah, it's like this world that I didn't know existed. The fluorescent forest, if you will. And you also can find mushrooms that you wouldn't find in the daytime, for sure. I'll figure out how to get into my photos in a second here. Get that. I wish I could get this thing, but yeah, I found this super cool glow in the dark, basically mycena yesterday, and I would have never seen it. It's yesterday. It's like I'm in a microphone guy too, like really and stuff. But that doesn't taste false. I'll tell you that much. The pictures, mine, yeah. They're for sale out there, so my photos in now. Okay, so here, yeah, we're talking about different species, what they like, who they are. This is a pink blue oyster, finished in a, yeah, perfect. So look at this, very hot and in the ground. All right, we're gonna be wild here. Be wild. We're gonna do 15 fast. So yeah, back to working with wild mushrooms. So Georgia has the Mushroom Mountain certification. Highly recommend if you have any interest and any fears. I mean, I've talked to y'all a little bit. Like, go get certified. If you're out in your own woods and you yourself want to eat what you're finding, not just to serve to others, but for yourself. He goes over 30, I think he's at like 35 species that, you know, you get to know lookalikes and how to identify that species. And it's the big hitters, but like I said, I work with some that are outside of that. Like I'm being the Jacksoniae or Leuciferus persicinus, which just is a weirdo that no one's working with. And that excites me, it's getting to know them. And I wish I had brought some weird ones to cook. So we drove from Savannah, and right before we left here, he's not in here as these islands, manning food. We were going through like 20 pounds of wild mushrooms. I had to separate some for the restaurant, but we did not bring our wild mushrooms at all. This was my intention to cook. But these, who cultivated these, Paul? What's that we're hollering about?
Horticulture.
Horticulture?
Yep. They're brand new. They are brand spanking new. They just popped up. They're out of Snellville.
Where is that?
Snellville. It's
okay.
It's kind of a little bit further northeast of Stone Mountain.
Okay. All right. That's a lot. I don't have the right tools for the job here. Just it. So, yeah, back to lion's mane steaks. So yeah, cultivated mushrooms. I like to get it when my mushroom farmer is harvesting it young and dense instead of fluffy and trying to make crab cakes. I like that. I like to do lion's mane steaks. Here's some glazed smoked paprika, glazed cucumber. Actually, if you wanted to pass it around, yeah, I'd give you the right amount. We might need to do one right. I would just shoot up top of that. Honestly.
What the hell did you do to this?
Yeah.
What did you do to this?
It's good?
What wizardry and witchcraft did you put into these mushrooms, David?
Really, y'all like it?
I've never heard
This and I like so like with this method, I get that flavor. Glad y'all like it. I got some more here too. Yeah, so I think like the big difference is the fat. Give it that fat, give it that flame. Oh yeah, you can sip on that if you want. We actually, so right now, a couple of things we're doing at the restaurant with cultivated wild. So pink blue oyster, like I said, for lack of a better word, but it's still paprika, tamari, black pepper, white wall sauce, the acid. It's kind of like we're deglazing with it, catching flame, getting a little flame flavor on it. Yeah, so that is what I do with that. I do steaks with wines and eggs. Chicken of the woods, cocoa bin, it's Christmas time, it's a really fun recipe. Red wine, potatoes, carrots. Or I'll do like what the paper is, the guy, chicken pot, that's the best thing with good, fresh chicken of the woods, lightly breaded, like hand breading, and some lemon, just shred that stuff on it. So that's actually chicken, and then I'm working these weird ones, like the peach chicken or whatever they want to call it now. And there's in each one, it's fun. Like it's new territory, I think, working with wild mushrooms. He's some people have been doing it for a while. So Forger Chef in Virgo, a couple people I follow on the internet that have been inspirations that I see what they're doing. They're working with wild mushrooms. Like the thing about the wild is they're working with this really weird species. Maybe you can't cultivate that mushroom. And it's one of the spike Mikulski's to answer. He's like a French fine dining chef in Rhode Island. And he's actually one of the lead members of the Poison Health group on Facebook, which is a article came out like a year ago. Really cool article by the time. Someone like outside said, I think about saving lives. There's a bunch of mycologists that are like in a minute ready to identify what's your dog or your toddler just ate that's going to die, whatever. So he's one of them. Realize they're doing a nonprofit, and they're like ready to go for your bed in the hospital. Maybe out there, toxin next at the hospital in America, right? I think so. So maybe toxins, which is more than just amanita. And I did amanitas myself, not for years. Hit territory. But I reject something and it goes raw. I don't like cooking. Can't cook. Does anyone know this mushroom? Cute little that coming out of an egg,
Under practice.
Yes. Josh Wayne? You were with him and you ate raw and you with Josh? Cool. Josh is a good yeah. Definitely be under guidance because it's in that genus that contains the deadliest. And definitely get risky. So what I don't serve and what I eat, like the rubescent, the red, like if it's, I know it is, but it's like not showing up red or something, I don't mess around. I believe that I really like the guy so it's risky. I do eat fly here, because they're extremely abundant and I think it's a resource. Renewable, sustainable resource. But that mushroom, like, never another fly here.
Do you cook it or you go?
Well, so everyone's like, oh my gosh, everything's definitely nuts. It's actually 3 different things, really. And I've got the book, Kevin Kingley book out there. It's just like this big, it's about one species. It's not good. It's really good. It's a whole book about the Amanita muscaria, those we have here. I know pine forest, probably that. I bet you, I guarantee, right out there, second week of January, it's right there. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
That's awesome trees. Which I hope everyone knows about that. It's like the St. Nicholas Word Tree, it all makes sense. Look it up. It is a history of St. Nicholas. Yeah. So you do. Okay, so back to this. And I'm not being sued, not someone to disclaimers. But
it's strictly culinary.
yeah, well, also other, well, now, yeah, I want to talk about medicinal things and stuff. But also, I try to like medicinal things. But back to that. So I'm gonna say it's definitely toxic in this life. No one's ever died from it. It's toxic, my understanding. So you have glycerin, right? Iron acid and glycerin, three big things. And it is maybe a little more toxic than like alcohol. Did I put that here? So it's like a little more toxic than alcohol. Maybe a fair bit more, just neurological damage. Marshall's it's insane. That's all. I'll go there. But it is three different things. It's like the toxin you draw, your entire doses of the things that make you sweat a lot is the big one. Like, I mean, you're drenched in sweat, and maybe a little shaky, hits your GABA receptors, and so I've experienced that thing. So they say that berserkers, the Vikings, would consume a bunch of it raw, go into bad health. So, I mean, maybe half of the large it's not, I think it's a little overhyped. I mean, I could be wrong. It's not a phobia. We don't want to make a phobia in this society, right? We can smash it. So, now you can convert your high-density acid into mucimol. You can actually push for a 100% conversion. And so to do that, they say there's three things that can contribute to it: dehydrating it, aging it, boiling it, or simmering it at 190 degrees, 240 degrees for 2 hours, and making sure pH level is exactly something like that. It's got a real tight window. Adding more water as you go. Citric acid is definitely more controllable than juice, but we just basically the home method is being simmered in lemon juice for 2 hours. Lower it, technically. And so do that for 2 hours. If it's dehydrated, you lost some, I think you lost some convert some. So, and eventually you'll get this product, it's tea. It doesn't taste that good, but it's better than ginger and little ginger and then you have this use small drink, which is it's a psychoactive experience. It affects the receptors. It's like associated, maybe anxiolytic, I don't know per se, but it's a certain experience. Maybe akin to alcohol experience or something. Definitely not psychedelic at all. And it has been used ceremonially, ritually, by different people throughout time. So if they're here, you can take it dry and make boiling tea. Or you can freshly boil the water 2 or 3 times, change the water out, lose the color, it's aggregate, and then do what you want with it, whether it's whatever. And I've done that and I do that. I actually try to keep the caps, sometimes it's stuck. That's what I have to keep with it. And so it makes it. Oh, I love it. Yeah, they're really delicious. Yeah. And I see some many, so I'll do the twice boil, throw the water out, and make that little dish stuffed mushrooms and random stuffed mushrooms. Caps. Mozzarella caps, and that's how side. That's amazing. Butter and garlic. Yeah, it's really good. So stuff like here. Merry Christmas. Always run good. So that's what I do with that mushroom. So each one's different. Oh, but people that are doing these things down in Berga, Spike Mikulski, he does really fun stuff with, now he does laughing gin bars, big laughing gin mangoes, and pilots, he's quite a chef, but he's working with wild mushrooms like this. And I think it's really fun. I think I haven't gone a day without eating mushrooms in 2 or 3 years now. I can't imagine a diet that doesn't include mushrooms. I don't know how I ever live that way. Really? So yeah, I love mushrooms. The only things I brought up is but I mean, I'm going to boys down like lunch and sticks and back off. Oh yeah, but yeah. Okay, so do we need any more of that? We all keep it going.
Yeah.
You gotta go do this. I only brought this with it. Like next time we will bring something that I would like it six. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
What's next up?
well, I hope that I'll be here. I didn't know about
Pockets are
mushroom
so
markets.
deep.
I'm
Usually
today.
they're like.
I did not know about this until 2 weeks ago, a week ago. My buddy Danny, I saw him in Atlanta, and he told me about Paul, introduced me to Paul and this mushroom market. I'm like, whoa, yeah, more mushroom events. Get mushroom people together. I go to a lot of the mushroom festivals, Georgia Mushroom Festival, Alabama Mushroom Festival. I definitely go to Myco Fest in Pennsylvania every single
You go
year.
to Telegram?
No, I'm saying it.
You go to
It's really expensive, really far. I wanted to go so bad.
You go to Michael Fest?
Oh gosh, we met no, we met in Alabama.
I was waiting to find someone to go.
Oh my gosh, I will not miss Myco Fest. Myco Fest is like a slice of heaven.
Yeah.
It's a community. It's a really community-based thing in the woods. Like, and it's a very special, very special experience. I would like to something. So yeah, Myco Fest is run by William Padilla Brown, and he's doing stuff with cordyceps right now. He's known for that. He's like cool YouTube thing. So it's his festival. We've done it for 10 years, I think. Definitely recommend going to it. You want to be around the mushroom community with mushroom people, and I think everyone's doing their own thing. So you're cooking mushrooms. Specifically, why I like to cook wild mushrooms. I like eating wild mushrooms. I like cooking fall mushrooms. But yeah, Myco Fest is really special. There's like a house show in the middle of the forest with this mushroom wrapper. I might have made some. It was a special moment. And I'm rocking up there, selling some Swarovski and chocolate or something. I was like, where am I? This is something special. It was a good thing. So yeah, Myco said, Telluride is a big one. It's mushroom mecca, right? Like, it's, I really want to go. It's massive. How many people go to it, you know?
It's so much you know.
Are you going? Yeah, enjoy. It's, yeah, okay. Yeah, it is a huge thing. So up here, y'all have a previously, I heard, right, in Atlanta. It's been dry. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, because we got here late today. I'm thinking like we should just stay up this way, maybe go to mushroom hunt tomorrow. Lake Helen. Helen. That's where I was going that way. Or Delana, that's further north.
Hey, you need someone to finish the book?
No, yeah, we were more after we done the ground. It's oyster. Oh, wild oyster. Look at oyster. Yes, I touched on a lot, not a lot. So you'll notice white oyster in the summer more often, and brownish or grayish oyster in the winter. And you'll notice they're more buggy in the summer, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding is it's like with Dia. They have one winter, that's why they are brown. Your brown oysters have to look like D, and they're getting more sun because the trees are.
Right.
But they taste better. Summer oysters are just a big pile. I actually used to hate oyster mushrooms. I used to hate oyster mushrooms. They were my least favorite because to me they smell like the smell I get from wild or cultivated with rubber or out mass, specifically the inside. I taught people they really want to see now you know how to get inside the house. Yeah.
I can see what you're saying. I smell sweet mass. It's like sweet brown.
Yeah, it's a that's exactly what I did. It's wild. It's like it's but now I love oysters. I don't know. I just I love it. But
I like the puffballs.
yeah, little ones.
Roast area in time and like turn them into something. They're like so good.
The small ones.
Like
Yeah. Like compared to
a little pear shaped one.
Yeah. They're like so big.
Right.
Do you cut the skin off?
No, I don't.
No. I hear people say, "Oh, yeah, it's off your skin."
No, I don't. It's fine.
I don't even.
I choose to tofu, but
Yeah,
whatever
it's
flavor
like
you want. So the guy didn't like them, but I like them.
yeah, they taste like whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet sour sauce, and you're good to go. Yeah, I think it's like these. Now that I do, the only mushroom actually I'm still like having issues with that I don't love. I actually use
You don't know chicken.
I actually don't like eating caramels. I think they're gross.
They're my
Certain how I don't like the flavor of caramel, but I'm growing used to them, and I realize that I don't like picking them young. I do believe we should let them get to proper size to produce their spores so they can get in the air, not to and not really fast levels for bottom, right? Like, when someone says, actually, I'm harvesting this line, and you won't go back next year. No, there's nothing you can do that lion's made to mess up the cheese. Okay. Bro, it's 38, they're 38, right? But it's for elsewhere. They sporulate, right? So, but I do like them, chanterelles, like when they're like not pins, but like, but as they get long, whatever, and you shred them out, it's not the bugginess, but I don't know, when they're like meatier and sort of. There's so many different chanterelles. I've noticed, yeah, I think they say like a lot of people think like, oh, it's just smooth golden chanterelle. It's canterelle slatterius. It's really there's like 8 different ones. And I'm starting after picking that many chanterelles. I can see subtle differences. We get this one that is somewhat out of the chanterelle. I gave the red canterella smooth. It's like slightly peachy. Look for it out there. And it's out pretty often. It's got a slightly different tone and color with it. And I've been noticing like that. And I'll see it grow, but different ones are not growing different terrain. But the chanterelles are attached to different species. It may taste different, and I've got to taste everything. But there's a little article, yeah, we have like maybe over a dozen canterelles in South East. Well over. It's a lot. So many different. Yeah, it's another local native for fungi. Harvesting a lot of this spring, I've been getting to saltcat. Saltcat. That's some on the weeds. We in coastal southeast Manitoba have 8 different species. We're actually saltcats and saltcats and make some endangered saltcats, but they're probably out there right now. Better have lunch there, native around here. And yeah, I just add to my repertoire. And I cook if a mushroom can be consumed. Mushroom edibility and discussion on Facebook is great to be a part of. Mushroom edibility discussion. They dive into weird, like, yeah, you can eat it, it's not toxic, it's ever eaten before, why would you want to? Or like, the tymespernitis, or like the fuzzy, hairy mushrooms, or like weird stuff, they're not toxic, you can eat. Well, maybe there's some. So, that's what I'm on. Can I do something with it? Because if it's sustainable, then I can harvest it, right? I think eating wild food is really important.
Like it?
I have to. Actually, yeah. My aunt one day messaged me out of nowhere. She's like kind of crazy. Like, she's like, eat moms or something like that. And then where I was literally eating moss. But I have eaten like instant mosses. I threw some lichen in. I cooked it. I threw some lichen. Was I with Devin? I think we were at Tucker House. Yeah. I eat a lot of stuff in the woods. I get to know. Yeah. I don't know, is that dangerous for you to feel like, oh, eat everything in the woods? Like,
I know.
do I need to like always say the same? Just know what you're doing. I don't know. I don't think I don't need something to say. I need to know what it is. I guarantee you. Sure. The once I have ever, I mean, I'm serving a lot of foods, a lot of mushrooms. It's really important. One time in my life, I once ate an Amanita flavononia, thinking it's sounding Jacksonian. And it is a big one. Not anymore for me, but it was. Luckily, I panicked. It was that